This is the Myer store in Hobart. I went down for 3 days to examine the Hobart store fire, which was over a $60 million loss. I was there 15. Significant costs, but at the end of this, what the coroner was able to come out in the coronial inquiry, so I'm not breaching any confidence in talking about some of this because it's now in a public document, but there were decisions made by people involved in the response to such a large-scale fire. This photograph is taken several kilometres away. In the early stages, the fire and Myer looked like this. You think, well, Greg, you weren't there. How in the heck did you get that photograph? A guy that owned a camera shop across the road set up a tripod and videoed it for me. Doing the investigation, the emergency service at that time wouldn't let me in. As a result, I was walking down the street and here's a large screen TV in a store showing the fire progressing. I walked into the shop owner and I said, mate, where did that come from? He said, oh, when it started, I put a tripod out the front with a video camera on it and videoed it all and took some still cameras, still photographs. He said, I'm selling the whole thing on a disc to raise money for cancer for $10. Do you want one? I went, mate, I'm feeling generous today. Give me like 10. Because, you can trust me, there's been part of my experience is for some reason, sometimes I find evidence gets lost. I don't know why, but it does. So let's have a look at the building in the early stages. While decisions were being made, and then got to this stage. Firefighters had attended. Unfortunately, in this matter, 2 fire officers got trapped inside and one of their other officers breached protocol and raced inside and was able to pull them out. But there was a decision made till it finally developed in this. And as you can see, if I go back a bit, you'll see the changing sky around this because the fire started late in the afternoon and at this stage we're progressing into the evening before it finally broke through several hours later. The building was lost and then looked like this. In that particular matter, I looked at what the response was and how we were looking at the fire. It's quite unusual to see a part of the make safe in dropping down walls that could collapse to make sure the examiners could get in to find that the part of the building that they left alone in order to examine was now the part that was being ignored. For investigators to go away from the part that they kept to examine and then go over to a hole in the ground and start fossicking around there seemed a little odd to me. I've been doing this a while. The area where they were digging the hole happened to be the shut-off valves on the sprinkler system. The people instructed me and their lawyers, I said, there's something wrong. They said, why? I said, you'd only be going to check the sprinkler system once you'd examined it to determine it was an arson fire or someone's had a fire and then turned the sprinklers off. I would have had to examine it first and then go and look at the sprinklers, not go straight and look at the sprinklers. So a decision had been made in this particular blaze to turn the sprinkler system off. Yes. And lost the building. It's a public document. I'm not having a go at the fireys, but it was just a decision was made. And again, it's coming back to what decisions do we make on a day-to-day basis can impact the outcome.